Pierre Poilievre recently engaged in a heated exchange with a Canadian press, CP, journalist concerning statements about the Niagara border explosion and its alleged ties to terrorism. He vehemently opposed the journalist's claims, using references from various media reports to support his position while questioning CP's reliability. Poilievre clarified to the reporter, pointing out specific instances from media coverage that hinted at a potential terrorism link in a recent exchange. Pierre Poilievre found himself in a fiery discussion with a journalist from the Canadian press, CP, regarding the statements made about the Niagara border explosion and its alleged ties to terrorism. He vehemently opposed the journalist's assertions, drawing upon various media sources to bolster his stance while also questioning the reliability of CP. Poilievre took the time to clarify to the reporter, pinpointing specific instances from media coverage that hinted at a potential terrorism link in the incident. However, he made it clear that despite referencing media reports, he refrained from explicitly labeling the event as an act of terrorism. Poilievre also raised doubts about the journalist's grasp of responsible journalism, casting uncertainty on CTV's credibility for portraying the incident as terror-related. This confrontation underscored a fervent debate regarding the trustworthiness of media outlets, particularly highlighting the conflicting narratives between CP and CTV.
Do you think it was responsible for you to call yesterday's explosion by the checkpoint at the Rainbow Bridge terrorism when no U.S. or Canadian officials said that was or authorities said that was the case, and when the New York governor also said there was no evidence to suggest terrorism activity?
Actually, you're wrong. You're a CP? Okay, so CP, by the way, CP, just for everyone's knowledge, did have to make 3 corrections for falsehoods that they put into a single article.
CP, just for everyone's knowledge, did have to make 3 corrections for falsehoods that they put into a single article. The reliability of carrier CPs comes into question when examining the accuracy of their reporting patterns.
I think that might be unprecedented. I'm actually thinking about checking with the Guinness Book of World Records to see if there's ever been a news agency that has had to issue 3 corrections for patent falsehoods that they admit they had been made in one single article.
I'm actually thinking about checking with the Guinness Book of World Records to see if there's ever been a news agency that has had to issue 3 corrections for patent falsehoods that they admit they had been made in one single article. Emphasizes the significant weight given to sarcastic or critical tones, along with the considerable influence of media inaccuracies. These factors are portrayed not only as noteworthy, but potentially record-breaking.
And now you've made yet another falsehood in your question. Where you are wrong is that CTV reported that the government of Canada was presuming that the incident was terrorist.
CTV reported that the government of Canada was presuming that the incident was terrorist. The media landscape where established entities like CTV align themselves with the Liberal Party, shaping stories to depict the government's purported chaotic initiatives.
So, yeah, that's what I said in my remarks. You're right. It was a media report.
Reports and not.
Which is what I said. In the House, I said there are media reports.
And you think that's a responsible thing to go on, to make that kind of a statement at the time without speaking?
What kind of statement?
Calling something terrorist.
I didn't. I said there were media reports.
That's the distinction we're making? Okay.
No, there's no distinction. What I said, and I was right, was that there were media reports of a terror-related event.
What I said is I was right, was that there were media reports of a terror-related event. The importance of Pierre Poilievre's reference to terrorism, as reported by the media, leaves an understanding the reasoning behind this interpretation.
By your admission, there were media reports of a terror-related event. And that media report, according to CTV, unless you're questioning their integrity now, came from security officials in the Trudeau government. So do you think the CTV was irresponsible in putting out that tweet?
Do you think the CTV was irresponsible in putting out that tweet? suggests that accountability in the context of the Liberal Party-backed CTV should be a focal point. It proposes that the media takes responsibility for both the scope and tone of its coverage.
Do you think it was responsible comment?
Sorry, I'm asking, and I have already answered that. Do you think CTV was irresponsible to put that tweet out?
That's none of my business. That's not for me to comment.
Well, you just did comment. Okay. So, I just hope you're not going to print something that you have to apologize for again.
Well, you just did comment. I just hope you're not going to print something that you have to apologize for again. Pierre Poilievre emphasized the crucial responsibility of journalists in maintaining truth, while discussing upcoming inaccuracies with the press.
I should also add, I think CP does work for CTV. So this is very awkward now, where we have CP attacking someone that they do work for. CTV is a client of CP, and now we have CP attacking CTV's reporting. But this is a very awkward issue. I don't know if there's a way that the two news agencies can sort that out.
This is a very awkward issue. I don't know if there's a way that the two news agencies can sort that out. The media industry presents a complex landscape with numerous challenges. Examining media entities, especially those under governmental oversight, reveals additional layers of intricacy. The reliability of such corporations becomes a crucial aspect within this intricate tapestry. Engaging in a spirited exchange, Poilievre faced a question implying a connection between the Niagara explosion and terrorism, even in the absence of official confirmation. The discourse delved into the trustworthiness of media narratives linking the incident to terrorism, with Poilievre emphasizing that he had alluded to existing reports without asserting terrorism as an established fact. Despite persistent questioning from the reporter about Poilievre's accountability, he reiterated his reliance on prevailing media accounts and cast doubt on the integrity of CTV's reporting. This clash underscored the intricacies of responsible journalism, emphasizing the need for caution when relying on and referencing media narratives and advocating for a critical examination of their accuracy. It highlighted the indispensable requirement for factual precision in journalism and the hazards associated with exclusively depending on speculative information from the media. When diving into the realm of truth within media narratives, our focus pivots towards responsibility, ethics, and the repercussions of disseminating unverified information on public perception. We scrutinize the interaction between Pierre Poilievre and a journalist, underscoring identity and integrity as Poilievre robustly defends his assertions against perceived unfounded allegations. This piece underscores the pivotal importance of upholding integrity in both deeds and language. It plunges into the psychological impact of media reliability, accentuating the public's susceptibility to misinformation and stressing the imperative for skepticism and critical evaluation of news coverage. Unraveling the dynamics between politicians and the media, we highlight the significance of politicians citing media coverage and delve into the leader's responsibility when employing unverified information in public discourse. We engage with the ethical dilemmas faced by journalists and news agencies when reporting on sensitive or unconfirmed events, accentuating the delicate equilibrium between journalistic integrity and the demands of news reporting. This process acknowledges the inevitability of inaccuracies, which must be carefully managed.
What do you think?
In a fiery accusation against Trudeau's administration, Pierre Poilievre pointedly addressed the government's alleged negligence toward escalating hate crimes, economic hardships, polarizing policies, and the suspected presence of the IRGC within Canada's borders. Insisting on an immediate prohibition of the IRGC, he referenced purported terrorist activities and criticized Trudeau's handling of the situation. Poilievre highlighted a staggering 150% increase in hate crimes, attributing the surge to economic downturns and policies that heighten societal tensions. He emphasized how economic adversities amplified animosity, and Trudeau's strategies exacerbated existing divides. Additionally, Poilievre underscored the inadequacies within law enforcement.
After 8 years of Justin Trudeau, Canada is a more dangerous place.
Canada is a more dangerous place. Justin Trudeau's leadership is recognized, but concerns arise about increased national risks.
Hate crimes are up 150%.
Hate crimes are up 150%. Suggests a compelling link between Trudeau's policies and a significant rise in hate crimes, highlighting the urgency for a crucial change.
After his economy has caused more desperation.
His economy has caused more desperation. The economic strategies implemented during Trudeau's administration have generated widespread feelings of despair among the public. This appears to stem from an economic framework that aligns with socialist principles, contributing to a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction.
His divisive, censorial policies have turned Canadian against Canadian.
Divisive censorial policies have turned Canadian against Canadian. Discusses varying opinions on Trudeau's proposed policies, with some labeling them as divisive and censorious, leading to increased social discord. However, a closer examination unveils a nuanced perspective challenging the straightforward critique of socialist governance, highlighting the possibility of misinformation in the discourse.
And his weak laws have allowed criminals and other violent operators to walk freely in our streets.
Weak laws have allowed criminals and other violent operators to walk freely in our streets. The surge in criminal activities is intricately tied to Trudeau's legislative approach, rooted in a perceived vulnerability.
And terrorize their fellow citizens. So today, Conservatives present a common-sense action plan to protect our people.
Conservatives present a common-sense action plan to protect our people. In his proposal, Pierre Poilievre advocates for a common-sense action plan to address a perceived issue. He positions his suggestion within the realms of rationality and pragmatism.
In these times, our first proposal is we want the government to immediately ban the Iranian terrorist group, the IRGC.
Ban the Iranian terrorist group, the IRGC, emphasizes the critical importance of taking a strong stance against terrorism. It calls for decisive measures to protect the safety of Canadian citizens and advocates for implementing robust security measures to address this urgent issue.
This is the most sophisticated, well-financed terror group on planet Earth. It was behind coordinating the October 7th attacks in Israel. It coordinates with other terrorist groups like Hezbollah, which are criminalized in Canada. According to a recent Global News report, there are 700 regime and IRGC agents operating with impunity.
700 regime and IRGC agents operating with impunity. In Canada, Pierre Poilievre raises concerns about potential security threats resulting from the unregulated activities of IRGC, Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps.
Using stolen money, terrorizing our Persian and Jewish populations, and putting Canadians at risk on our soil. I will add, this terrorist group fired a missile at a civilian aircraft, killing over 100 Canadians. This was almost 4 years ago. Can you imagine what kind of prime minister would allow a terrorist group to fire a missile at killing our people, and 4 years later he lets them legally operate in our country with impunity? This is a disgrace, and it is time that Justin Trudeau stood up to defend our people against these IRGC murderers and terrorists by banning them today. And we should work to kick out every single regime, agent, or terrorist that is operating in this country, of which 700 have been identified.
Pierre Poilievre argues that the policies implemented by Trudeau have intensified societal tensions, resulting in a surge of hate crimes and economic challenges for Canadians. He vehemently advocates for an immediate prohibition of the IRGC, underscoring their involvement in severe actions, such as launching a missile at a civilian aircraft, causing Canadian casualties. Poilievre underscores Trudeau's responsibility for permitting the IRGC's operations in Canada. His call to action centers on addressing national security concerns by pressuring the Trudeau government to declare the IRGC illegal, accusing them of facilitating a terrorist group to freely function within the country, thereby jeopardizing the lives of Canadians. Pierre Poilievre articulates reservations regarding Justin Trudeau's stance on national security, illuminating the heightened apprehensions surrounding terrorism and hate crimes in Canada. Poilievre underscores the ethical obligation encircling leaders, particularly Trudeau, in the guardianship of citizens. In his critique of Trudeau's policies, he elucidates their impact on social tensions, the peril to societal cohesion, and the trials posed to national identity. Delves into the ethical quagmire between civil protection and the preservation of civil liberties, accentuating the intricate equilibrium indispensable for effective governance. Poilievre not only advocates for action against the IRGC, but also scrutinizes perceived threats, examining the diverse ways individuals interpret and respond to them. In essence, it ventures into the intricate interplay of fear, objective threats, and personal experiences.
What do you think?
I promote myself and my videos. Hello, I'm Bong Sim, a Canadian resident of Asian descent. During the day, I work as a professional counselor, and at night, I do Uber food delivery. Instead of speaking in my videos, I prefer to express myself through writing. In today's world, speaking the truth can have serious consequences, both for my professional life and personal well-being. That's why I'm choosing to pen down my thoughts and using a platform to share them on my behalf. Some people find my videos uninteresting, too strict, and they even criticize the appearance of the individuals featured, including their tiredness, Asian, or perceived flaws. I understand these concerns, but I genuinely believe in the purpose behind creating these videos. Unfortunately, recent Canadian legislation has resulted in the censorship of free speech and online content, and although Google hasn't explicitly admitted their involvement, I suspect they play a part in it. Despite my efforts to monetize my content on YouTube, I haven't been able to earn any income from it. I've tried 3 times, and all my attempts were rejected. They turned me down for reasons like lacking creativity, not having a recognizable face, or not having a distinct voice. Nevertheless, I've made several adjustments to my videos, hoping to overcome these challenges. If you share my belief and support what I'm doing, I would genuinely appreciate your backing.